Hello everyone. In this video we will start a new chapter from class 9th chemistry, that is atomic structure and chemical bonding. So please listen carefully because this is very important chapter and also a very interesting chapter. So we can divide this chapter into two parts. The first part is about atomic structure while the second part is about chemical bonding. Now, atomic structure stands for structure of atom. That means we will know what kind of particles are present in an atom and what is the position of those particular particles. Now, first of all, we will know from where the term atom came. So, it started with Dalton's atomic theory. However, before that, many philosophers predicted the presence of atom, but Dalton gave a theory about atom. Now, according to Dalton, if we divide any substance, for example, if we have an iron rod and if we divide this iron rod into pieces, so there will come a time when there will be very small particles which are impossible to divide further. So these smallest particles which cannot be divided were known as atoms. So basically atom means indivisible. So because according to Dalton, atom cannot be divided further and therefore this name was given to that particular particle. So you have to remember a few points about Dalton's atomic theory. The first point is that every element is made of very small particles which cannot be divided further, and these small particles are called atoms. The second point, the atoms of a particular element are identical in all aspects. It means the atoms of a particular element, for example, the atoms of sodium. So all atoms of sodium will be identical. Identical means same by mass, by size, etc. In all the aspects, all the atoms will be same according to Dalton's atomic theory. Similarly, all the atoms of hydrogen will be identical. They will have same mass, they will have same size, etc. So this is the second point. The third point is the atoms of different element will be different from each other. Means the atoms of different element means the atom of sodium will be different from the atom of hydrogen, or atom of oxygen will be different from atom of carbon, and so on. So the atoms of different elements will be different in properties. The next point is the atoms of same or different elements combine together to form molecules, and they do so in a simple whole number ratio. For example, if we talk about the molecule of water, the formula of the water is H2O. Now the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen atoms in H2O molecule is 2:1 because there are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So the ratio is 2:1. So this is a simple whole number ratio. So according to Dalton's atomic theory, when the atoms of different elements combine together to form a molecule, they do so in a simple whole number ratio. Hope you have understood this point. Now the question is, do we accept Dalton's atomic theory? The answer is no. The problem with Dalton's atomic theory is that the many assumptions which were taken in Dalton's atomic theory were not completely right. For example, the first assumption, which was that atom was indivisible, is completely wrong, because after that we realized that atom can be divided further and there are so many smaller particles present within the atom. For example, electron, proton, neutron, etc. So the main fundamental particles of an atom are electrons, protons and neutrons. So remember that atom is not indivisible, which was told by Dalton. That atom is indivisible was wrong. The second assumption was that atoms of same element are identical in all aspects. Means if there are two atoms of hydrogen, both the atoms will have same mass, same shape, same size, etc. But it is not always right. For example, there are so many type of atoms of hydrogen. For example, one is called protium, other is called deuterium, and third is called tritium. Now, these all are the atoms of hydrogen. Now, if you will see the mass of deuterium is twice the mass of protium. The mass of tritium atom is thrice the mass of protium. But all the atoms are of hydrogen. So, you cannot say that the atoms of same element should be identical. They may or may not be identical. Now, the third problem was that the atoms combine together to form molecules. So, it was told by Dalton, but he did not give an explanation why the atoms combine to form the molecules. One more thing that he said was the atoms combine in a simple whole number ratio, but in many compounds, for example, C12H22O11, the ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen is 12:22:11. If you know the name of this compound, please write in comment box. So the ratio is 12:22:11. This does not seem a simple whole number ratio. So it may or may not be a simple whole number ratio. So due to so many limitations, we do not accept Dalton's atomic theory. So we modernized Dalton's atomic theory. So according to new theory of atom, the atom can be divided further, and there are three major subatomic particles. Subatomic particles means the particles which are present in an atom. So there are three major subatomic particles. However, we have discovered more than 35 subatomic particles. But out of these subatomic particles, main particles are electrons, protons and neutrons. So you have to remember the name of these fundamental particles: electrons, protons and neutrons. So hope you have understood the atomic theory. The next topic is structure of atom. So in structure of atom, we will study about subatomic particles like electrons, protons and neutrons, and we will also learn about their position within the atom. Now, first of all, we will know how these subatomic particles were discovered. So first is discovery of electrons. So how the electrons were discovered? Electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson, and it was done with the help of a discharge tube experiment. However, this discharge tube experiment is not very important in 9th class, but in higher classes you have to study this. So let's discuss discharge tube experiment. In this experiment, we use a long glass tube which is about 76 centimeter long. The air inside the glass tube is removed with the help of vacuum pump. Now, we use a high voltage battery which is connected to two ends of the discharge tube. One end which is connected to positive end of the battery, that end is called anode, and the other end of the discharge tube which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is known as cathode. Now anode is coated with a fluorescent coating. Fluorescent substances are those which glow whenever small particles strike on them. So generally we use zinc sulfide coating for fluorescence. When we apply a high voltage across the discharge tube, a glow is seen on the side of anode. It means there are some particles which are moving from cathode to anode. In starting, these were called rays, and these rays were named cathode rays. Why these rays were named cathode rays? Because they were coming from cathode. Later, J.J. Thomson found that these cathode rays contain some particles, and he gave these particles a name, that is electrons. So you have to remember that J.J. Thomson named electrons, and he also found out the mass of electron. That is, mass of electron was very small, that is 9.1 into 10 raised power minus 31 kg, while there was charge on electron, and which was negative 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. So this is all about electron that you have to remember, that electrons were discovered by J.J. Thomson. The mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 raised power minus 31 kg. In terms of gram, you can say 9.1 into 10 raised power minus 28 gram. Charge of electron was minus 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. So this is all about electron. Later, the proton was discovered by same experiment, that is discharge tube experiment, by Goldstein. So what do we have to remember about proton? That proton was discovered by Goldstein. Mass of proton is very high as compared to mass of electron. It was about 1.67 into 10 raised power minus 27 kg, while charge of proton was same as the charge of electron. The only difference is the charge of proton is positive while the charge of electron is negative. So what is the charge of proton? That is 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb, while charge of electron is negative 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. The third is discovery of neutron. So discovery of neutron was done by Chadwick, and neutrons are electrically neutral, means neutrons do not have any charge, while the mass of neutron is equal to the mass of proton, that is 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 27 kg. So you have to remember it, that mass of neutron is also equal to 1.67 into 10 raised power minus 27 kg. However, you also have to remember that mass of neutron is slightly greater than the mass of proton, but that difference is almost negligible. So hope you have understood all the topics that we have covered in today's lecture. So this is all in this lecture. If you have any queries, you can ask your questions in the comment box. Thank you very much.